Hey guys, welcome back to Chaos Core Tech. My name's Garrett, and today we're going to be modeling Magnemite. Now this is actually the third video in this series, so if you want to check out the previous two, I'll put a link to the playlist. Check the little eye up in the corner. And in the last video, we went through and created the sketches that we'll need to create Magnemite. So from here, it's actually a pretty simple process. First thing we're going to do is revolve the outside of this Magnemite here. So we've already got the profiles we want selected, so I'm going to click on the axis here and then select this line that we created in the beginning as the axis. And now you can see we've got a full sphere, but I only want half of a sphere, so I'm going to change this 360 to 180. And there we have the top half of Magnemite. So I'm going to bring back the sketch that we were just using, and I'm going to do the same thing, but for the bottom half. Now you could create a full sphere and just cut it in half later. It's kind of just personal preference. Whatever you want to do. So I changed that to negative 180, and I do not want to join. I want a new body. Hit OK. So now if we open up the bodies menu over here, we can see that we got body 1 and body 2. Okay, so the next thing is the eye. So I'll hold and select the profiles over here. And I'm going to leave out that center hole, and you'll see why in a second. So I'll go ahead and press pull, and then I am just going to bring it right up through the top here. And I'm actually just going to make this a new body. Hit OK. So now that is a separate body. And this trick I actually use a lot. Like, this is probably the thing I use the most when creating the characters and stuff that I do in here. And this is just getting details that follow the curvature and the shape of the original body. So for this one, we want the eye. We need to cut out an eye, but we need it to follow the curvature of this. So I'm actually going to take a duplicate of this sphere half here. So I'll just hit Control-C, Control-V, hit OK, so that gives us a duplicate. I'll hide the original one. Then I'm going to go Modify, Combine, and then I'm going to combine these two, but I'm going to go Intersect. And I'm actually going to select Keep Tools. So then I'll hit OK. And now we have an extra body right there. And if I hide that, you can see that that's just the part of the sphere that was intersecting with that cylinder. I'm going to go Modify, Combine once again, select this original sphere, and then this cylinder here. And this time I'm just gonna cut, and we don't need to keep tools anymore, so I'll hit OK. So now you can just basically see that I've split these two bodies up. And actually it's three, since this little center guy is kind of chilling by himself. Now what I'm gonna do is lower this, the white part of the eyeball here. And that is for the same reason that we put these little indentions over here. That's just to actually make a physical separation so it appears on the print and is easier to paint. So to do that, I'm just gonna right click and press pull, and then I'm just going to go -1. Now you can see that it is indented in there, and incidentally we've created the eyeball as well. So then I can go through and combine all three of these, and this time we want join. Hit OK, and then I'm just going to go through and add a little fillet in here to just kind of smooth everything out, make it a little bit more of a gradual transition. Okay, so I think that looks good, and you can already start to see Magnemite taking form there. So next let's move on to the actual magnet, and this one's really simple. I'm going to select all the pieces that I want to extrude. I'm going to leave out these little indented pieces here for the time being. So then I'll go press pull, and I'm just going to drag it up. I think 15's okay, then instead of one side, let's go symmetric. Leave it as new body, that's fine, hit OK, and then if I hide the sketch, you can already really start to see the whole thing coming together. Okay, so now that I've got that there, I'm going to add these little indented pieces. So I'll select that one, and then I will select that one. Press pull, and I want it to be a 1mm difference. So we did 14 last time, so this time I'm going to go 13, and change it to symmetric again. And I'm fine with it being joined, so I'll just hit OK. And it'll join it all together. This kind of goes to show you that if you think things through and set up the sketches right, you can actually make life quite a bit easier on yourself. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's just go ahead and create a mirror of this right here. I'm going to select pattern body, so it selects the whole body here. Mirror plane, and I'm just going to go across this plane. Hit OK, boom. Now we've got two magnets. Let's go ahead and take care of this screw right here. So I'm actually going to hide the original bodies here. And then I'm going to select everything that I need to here. Okay, that's everything I want for the screw. And then I'm going to revolve this as well. And then we need to change this back to 360 since we want the whole thing. And I think that looks good. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm just going to smooth this out with a fillet. Okay, and then we can add the little indentions into the screw here. So I'm going to hide this just to make it easier to select stuff. And I'm going to select all of these, and it looks like there's a little guy right in here that we'll need to select as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press pull, and I want these to be 5 thick, but we're going to do symmetric, so I'm going to go 2.5. So I'll pull this up, and I think we wanted this to be 15, so I'll go 7.5, go symmetric, and join. Oh, and actually I was wrong there. I needed that to be 15 on each side. So I'll just double click on the timeline down here and then change this to 15. Now I'm going to create a mirror of this. So I'll select that guy, and then for the mirror plane, use this one again. Hit OK. So now we've got two things there, and I'm just going to join them for good measure. You don't really have to do this if you don't want to. And then I can bring back the screw and combine these. So there you see, we've got the screw. And now this is something that you can kind of play with because some screws have definite edges like this, others don't. And so say you wanted it to go off the sides, because I think when I originally made this, it did go off the sides. So I'm just going to drag the timeline back before I created the mirror. And I can actually just take this, press pull, go straight out, hit OK, and do the same up here. And bottom reflected. Then I can just drag this back, and now we have little holes in there that go all the way through the screw. Now we just need to create the little coils that go along this. So luckily Fusion has our back there, so we can come up to create coil, and I'm going to use this right down here as a starting point, just the bottom of the cylinder. And then I'm going to drag a circle out to match the perimeter of that. Now, I don't want to cut, I'm going to join. So then I'm going to drag this arrow into negative space back here and then right into the top of the screw. And as you can see, it doesn't poke out here, so we're good, and it hides the edge of that. And now Magnemite's screw has a few more threads than this, so we'll just take this slider right here and drag it backwards. So I think I left mine circular in the original one, but you can go triangular if you want, to give it a little more of that type of look, kind of your personal preference. I'm just going to leave it at circular, and I think that does just fine. So, oh, before I hit OK, I said I was going to join earlier. I think I'm actually going to go new body, because we want to cut a little bit of this away. And then I can go revolve, select the center axis here, cut is just fine, hit OK. And now that should look good. We'll bring everything back. And if we hide the main sphere, you can see that the thread cuts off right at the top there, and everything is looking good. So now we can take this screw and copy it for the feet. So I'll hit Control-C over here, copy. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm gonna leave it like that for just a second. I'm gonna come up to Modify, Scale. So I'm just gonna scale it down to roughly 0.8 of what it was. And I'll leave it at uniform, hit OK, and now I can start moving it into position. So I'm going to move it over here. And this one you're just gonna kind of got to play with until you get it to about the position and orientation that you want. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to come up to create, and I'm just going to create a mirror for it. So you can really start to see how centering your object on this origin can really help. Okay, so there is the full and completed Magnemite, but we are not completely done. So the only thing we have left to do is allow all these things to connect together. So we need to put some holes in this. I'm going to hide all the bodies real quick, and on this sketch, so if you look right here, these are touching, but they're not going to be printed together like that, and they're not going to stay together very well like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a rectangle, and I am just going to go right into this model right over here. And then before I stop sketch, I'm just going to put a line right down the middle so we can extrude this out easily. Stop sketch, and then I'm going to select this side. Don't forget this little guy right in the middle here, because otherwise it won't do you much good. And then I'm going to go up to Revolve. Now we have a nice little cylinder that we can use to put these things together. Now I'm going to bring back the magnet so I can show you the steps that I can take to get this in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go combine, select the magnet, and then this pin, cut, and then I'm going to keep tools. So I'll hit OK, and now this pin's here. We can hide it, and you can see that there is a little hole just the exact size of the pin right in there. And now this is where tolerances come in. And these can be tricky and do require a little bit of testing, but that's why I create the pins separately. So if you print a pin and test it out and it doesn't fit, you can go back and print another pin and you haven't lost much material. But I found that 0.4 millimeters works really well for a tight fit that you can still push and pull out manually, and you won't risk breaking anything, but will stay in there for the most part with a friction fit. So I'm just going to select the outer cylinder here, go press pull, and it looks like the arrow is pointing inwards, so I'm going to go negative 0.4. You can see it makes it just a little bit bigger. I'll hit OK. Now I can bring back the original pin, and if we line up the camera just right, you'll see that there is a gap there. So just keep tolerances in mind while you're creating these things, because they are pretty necessary. So I'm going to hide that, and I'm going to bring back these two bodies here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go one at a time. I'm going to go combine, and yep, keep tools. Boom. I will do the same for this bottom one. Keep tools. And then I'll just come in and extend these up individually. Negative 0.4 and negative 0.4. So you see that those still match up, but the pin will fit in perfectly. And if I take away the top one here, you'll see that it goes into the hollow center of this sphere. So it'll just go in and we don't have to worry about it hitting anything on the inside here. So I'm going to follow that exact same process for the magnet on this side, and the screws on the top and the legs here. Okay, so now the model is completely done, and let me show you kind of the end result. So I'm going to hide everything except for the main spheres here. So you can see that there's holes on the side for the magnets to fit in, a hole in the top for the screw to fit in, two holes in the bottom for the legs to fit in, and then we've got the eye on top here. Okay guys, well I think that's enough for this section. In the next one we will look at slicing it up and getting it ready for printing. Well, I hope this made sense and it came across well enough that you know, a properly prepared model can save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and if you take your time during the sketch and really think out what you're going to do, the model will come together really nicely. But really, that being said, you can just go in blindly, and I've done it many, many times. And for some models that are much more organic shaped, like say that I was going to create like a cartoon character or a person or something like that, that's not geometrically driven, sketches really aren't going to help you, and you kind of just have to go in and start sculpting things. So really what I'm trying to say is just take some time to think about the object that you're working on, the shapes that it is, and if it can be easily done with sketches, it can save you a lot of headaches. But really the most important thing is just to do it. It can be daunting. There's been many a time that I've been kind of caught up in thinking about how a model should be created in my head, and it takes me too long to start this process. So just don't be afraid. Get in there and start it, and worst case scenario, the model's coming out terribly and you have to scrap it and start over. But that's not all that bad either, because you can start it over knowing what you just learned by failing. So never be afraid to start, never be afraid to fail, just do it. And maybe it won't turn out perfect, because despite what you guys think, there are a lot of flaws on these models behind me over here that I've created. They're just minor flaws, but it's something that I know because I was in there creating it. But you just have to keep thinking that you're progressing. You're learning, so flaws are okay. You know, just do the best that you can with what you're given. Don't stress about the small things. Get it to a point that you're happy, and then take that knowledge forward to your next project and keep accruing knowledge, and eventually you'll be at the point where you can create anything you want to. And that's something that's really magical, and that's something that I really hope I can share with you guys. Okay guys, well, thank you for joining me. The next one should be up relatively soon, so I'll see you then.